Welcome everyone. This is Chloe with Cousin DIY. Today I'm going to show you a bit of a twist on a traditional gingerbread house, and I'll be showing you how to make this home for the holidays scene. I'm going to get set up and we'll be right back and get started. The first step is to print the pattern pieces, which will be attached to the instructions. I printed these on heavyweight paper and I cut these shapes out so I can trace around them. The roof, the house, the sides of the house, windows, chimney parts, the tree, the sidewalk, and the pond are all included. The first step is to assemble the house. And to do that, you will trace onto plastic canvas. The reason I used plastic canvas was to give the house some structure, and we're going to be gluing it together, and we didn't want it to be floppy, so we'll be using foam sheets. So just to give you an example, this is one part of the roof. When you're cutting plastic canvas, you want to line your pattern pieces up with the lines in the plastic canvas. You want to try to cut along the straight edge, not in between the lines if you can. It may not quite line up that way, but just do the best you can. And so you're going to cut out 2 pieces for the roof, the front and the back of the house, the sides of the house. So I've got that done. I've already done that. So here's the front and the back and the 2 sides. And the next step will be to cut the foam sheets of whatever color you want your house to be. I chose brown for the sides and the front and the back. And then I chose white for the roof. So this is sticky back foam. So I'm going to carefully remove the foam. I guess I'll start at the peak of the front of the house. And you want to line this up the best you can. Okay, and I can see I'll need to trim a little bit of this side here off the plastic canvas. And I'll do this again with the other end. Next we'll attach the sides. There. Now I'm just going to trim the little bit of plastic canvas that remained exposed. Next, I'm going to go ahead and decorate the front of my house. I had gone ahead and cut out a red door and some steps. I chose black for the steps, and I'm going to remove the adhesive backing and attach those to the middle of the bottom. That looks pretty good. Do the same with my door. And put it right on top of the stairs. Then I cut out 2 windows from yellow felt, sheets of yellow felt. And I'm going to, this is a little more limp than the foam sheets. And I'm going to put a window here. And I cut another round window for the peak. Next, I cut a bunch of little strips, these of black foam sheets. And these are going to be the dividers in my windows. So I'm just going to set them on top and cut them so they fit. Remove the adhesive backing. And so I'm going to build the dividers in all my windows. And I'm going to also, I cut a couple wider strips. These are going to be the sills on the bottom of these 2 windows. And I'm going to also put sills on the top of the windows. Next, I'm going to cut out a little circle for a doorknob. And then we're going to put a wreath on our door. There, so we have the front of our house basically finished. We'll be adding some pom-poms for lights later. Next, we're going to move on to the sides of our house, where we're going to add a window on each side. And we're going to do the same thing, putting dividers in the window and sills. Next, I'm going to move on to the roof. Now, the first step of the roof is to cut out, after you've cut out your plastic canvas, is to cut out 2 roof sides like so. Oh, by the way, you'd want to trace these on the back side of the foam sheet rather than the front side. And once again, I'm just going to trim off the little bit of canvas that's showing through. Next, we're going to start assembling the house together. Use a Kleenex cube and decide which is going to be your front and which is going to be your sides. They should be, see which lines up better. Okay, side and front. There we go. So I've heated up my glue gun, and I'm going to cover the side all around the edges and in the middle with hot glue. Okay, next we are going to glue on the roof. And then the next step is to add our snow on the roof. So I cut these shapes out of white felt. And this is going to give us the look of snow on our roof. And it's going to be overlapping ever so slightly. Now we basically have our house completed. You might want to go around and check and make sure that there isn't a place that you might want to add a little more glue to. So our house is pretty much complete and it's looking very good. Next, we need to construct the chimney, and we're going to use the same technique. I cut the front and the back of the chimney out of plastic canvas and the sides. And then I cut red foam paper, and I used a fine line, ultra fine point black marking pen to make bricks. So let's put our roof together. Now we're going to glue our chimney together. And then we want to glue our chimney to the top of our roof. The next step is to add some ice to our roof and to our pond. To do that, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to scoop out the smallest of these sparkly little seed beads. And this little tool helps tremendously. We'll do the roof of the house first, and I'm going to use this pan to catch the beads that don't stick. First step is to put a really thick coating of Mod Podge on the snow part of the roof. You want a pretty thick coat. Try not to get any into the, like I just did, into the bottom of the pan. Oh, I dripped some Mod Podge in there. We don't want that. Okay, next we're going to start spilling a few of these where we have applied the Mod Podge. You want to shake and recapture as much of this as you can. If you see any spots that you want a little more to adhere to, just put a glob of Mod Podge there and sprinkle. Now let's try the other side. We'll do the same thing to our pond, the surface of our pond. While those are drying, I'm going to assemble our tree. And For that, we've cut out 4 tree shapes from our adhesive back sheets of green foam. And I've drawn a line down the middle of the back of each side of the tree. And the reason for this is I'm going to only peel half the adhesive backing off at a time because I want to make a 3-dimensional tree. And I also cut, I used just wire cutters like this, and I cut a little 7-inch section of dowel, which I'm going to place in the middle. So let's see if I can make this work. The first step is to the adhesive, and I find you have to do each point separately to keep your paper intact. I'm gonna peel those back halfway. Very handy to have those lines drawn on so you've got a guide, approximate guide. So at this point, I'm going to insert my dowel right in the middle. And the next step will be, we won't take the backing off the next tree pattern, but we will line it up with this half of the first tree and try to line it up the best you can. Oh, I could have done a better job. Let me correct this. And my reason for this was to leave that adhesive backing on this next piece, just trying to give the tree as much structure as I can. We can always come back afterwards and trim these sides. So the next step is going to be fold this over. Actually, I'm going to cut a pair of small sharp scissors will be handy for this. Now I'm going to peel back half of this, the adhesive backing on this one, and you get the idea. We're just going to press them together so we have a 3-dimensional tree. Next step is going to be to take this ceramic Christmas star and put that down through the middle of the tops there. I want to make sure this stands up pretty well. set that aside for a minute. And next, I cut out the sidewalk. And we can figure out where to position the sidewalk on our mirrored placemat. To do that, I'm not going to worry about cleaning the surface because it's just going to reflect through the snow. I thought it was a good base for this project. And then, let's see, play with this and figure out. I want this sidewalk to line up with the bottom of the steps. And to do that, so I'm going to line the sidewalk, and then I'm going to cut an edge that will be flush with the mirror. That seems to be a pretty good spot. So I'm going to start removing the adhesive backing here. Give it one last check. There. Next, we're going to embellish the house and the tree with little pom-poms that look like Christmas lights. Here they are. I chose not to use the white or the black. For the house or the tree. Let's do the house first. And I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. I'm going to glue on pom-poms on the ridge of my roof and along the front and the back of my roof. Now our tree is done. The next step is to shred up some white pom-poms, some 3-inch white pom-poms. And that will become the snow in our yard and around the house, and smoke out of the chimney. At first, I had a bit of a hard time getting the technique for pulling these pom-poms because they don't work like cotton balls. You have to kind of work at it and tug. So it takes a while, but the results are worth it. So I just gently go around and I keep pulling. And eventually little clumps of pom-pom will start falling out like that. Next step is I'm going to put some in the chimney for smoke. There, I like that. There we go. Next, we're going to assemble everything. So we already have our sidewalk adhered to our mirror, and we're going to line up our house with the sidewalk. And I'm going to place the pond and play with the tree a little bit, get it to stand up. Okay. And we're just going to start placing. Now, if you wanted to make this permanent, you could actually glue this pom-pom snow down onto little here and there, down onto the mirror. But I'm making mine so that it can be disassembled for the most part and stored from season to season. So the snow can be put in a little bag and stored, and everything else can get taken apart and put in a box. The mirror comes with this protective bubble wrap on it, so that can slide back in there. Put it away and use it again next year. Now, if you're doing this with your children, always supervise or do the glue gun work yourself. We don't want our little ones to get burned. The nice thing about this mirror is that it's very forgiving. Just reflects the snow back up. Figure out where we're going to fit our tree. I might have to play with the tree a little bit to get it, find the right position for it to stand up. There, I can do my finishing touches later, but this gives you an idea of what it will look like. Now for the first one I made, I went ahead and I made a little bench. I cut a couple little strips of plastic canvas and some strips of brown foam, and then I just removed the backing and stuck them on as a little bench on the skating pond. Thought that was cute. And then I glued together some little white pom-poms for a little snowball fight. There you go. If you make your own home for the holiday scene, we'd love to see it. You can share it with us on Instagram at #createwithcousin. Till next time, hope to see you soon. Bye. Happy holidays.